Grandin, a mulher autista que revolucionou as práticas para um tratamento mais humano dos animais em fazendas e abatedouros. Você confere agora trechos dessa conversa.
I'm Temple Grandin. It's really great to talk to your group today. I'm a professor of animal science at Colorado State University. And when I was a little kid, I had no speech until age 4. And all the symptoms of classical autism. And I was very lucky to get into a very good early educational program. By the time I was 2.5, to teach me speech. Another thing they taught me was turn taking. It's very important to teach these kids how to wait and take turns at a game. A lot of emphasis on that. Another thing you need to do in talking to these children is talk slowly, slow down. Because when the grown-ups talked fast, it was like, blah, 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 blah. So slow down. So my speech teacher would hold up a cup and she'd say cup, and then she'd say cup, and she'd slow way down. And start out learning just names of favorite foods, names of toys. And you always want the child to use their words. So you know he wants some juice, ask him to use his words, but give him time to respond. They're like a bad internet connection or a bad mobile phone connection. It takes time to download the web page. Give them time to respond. Now, I looked very severe when I was 3 years old. And early educational, very early education, 20 hours a week, one-to-one, working with a teacher, helped me get fully verbal. Now, there's some individuals that will not be fully verbal. Some of them can learn to type independently. And what often works the best is a tablet, an iPad or some similar type of tablet. Now, when the kids get older, take the thing they're good at and build on it. My thing was art, and that showed up when I was about 7 or 8 years old. Build on the strength. For another child, it might be music. Music can be a really good career for a child. So enhance the music. Teach them to play different musical instruments. There might be other children where mathematics is the thing they're good at. Well, then you might want to introduce them to computer coding. Now, there's no way you're going to know if they can do computer coding unless you expose them to it. Then there's some that are great at words, and they can memorize just about everything. They're the word kids. They often love history, and they often have specialized knowledge of things they're interested in. Now, the way kids get interested in stuff is they have to get exposed. I get asked, how did I end up in the cattle industry? Well, I got exposed to it when I was a teenager. Now, a lot of kids on the spectrum have problems with loud noise. And oftentimes they can learn to tolerate a loud noise if they control it. Let's say, for example, a hairdryer is really loud or a vacuum cleaner is really loud. If they can turn it on and off and control it, then they'll be able to tolerate it better. Where they turn it on and off, then the vacuum cleaner might become their favorite thing. You see, and that reduces the big startle response. Another thing that helped me is I was taught table manners. Sit at the table, learn how to use utensils. You're working with the real young children, they need to learn basic skills. Getting dressed, showering, bathing, using the toilet, basic skills. So we want to get speech going, get basic skills going. And even somebody that remains nonverbal can often be good at doing something. That's a really useful skill. We have to start looking at what the person can do. Now, Stephen Hawking, the famous physicist, he had a very, very severe disability. But there was one thing he could do really well. He could do mathematics in his head really well. So right before Stephen Hawking died, he said, concentrate on those things. Your disability does not prevent you from doing well. Okay, walking he definitely could not do, but he could do math in his head really well. And he could float around in NASA's weightless plane really well. So let's figure out what the person can do. Well, my mother was another very important person in my success. And she had a very good sense of just how hard to push me. But she also gave me choices of different things to do. Like, for example, children now need to wear masks. Well, give them choices of masks. You're going to have to wear one, but there's some choices of some different types. You see, and that gives the child, control. Also, they might like to read Thinking in Pictures. Thinking in Pictures is my autobiography. It is available in a number of different languages. But parents and teachers need to work together and be a team working together. Common question I get from a lot of parents is their child will eat like maybe 2 things, very picky eating. And one of the ways to work with that is let the child get involved in food preparation. But in the kitchen, you can play with some of these different things. Help cook it, help make it. And then you can take little tastes of it. Now, there's going to be a few things they're going to absolutely hate, but they shouldn't be hating just about everything. And sometimes just getting them involved in preparing it can help them to eat it. Even if it's something like let them just stir it, make sure it's totally safe what you're doing. I got interested in science very young. My grandfather was an engineer, and he was one of the inventors of the autopilot for airplanes. This is back before World War II. And I used to ask grandfather science questions. Why is the sky blue? Why is grass green? Just very basic things like this. And this brings up an important thing is when kids get exposed to things like science, then they get interested. And that's the kind of things that I would tell them. And I think it's very good. We need to be doing a lot of different things. Theater, music, art, woodworking, sewing, cooking, because these are all things that can lead to careers. The other thing we've got to do is teaching basic skills. I am seeing fully verbal kids that are not learning money, and they're not doing things like shopping by themselves. These are things I learned at a very young age. Mother gave me a little small amount of money, in American money. Back in the 50s, it was 50 cents. I could buy 5 comic books with that. But if I wanted this little airplane with a propeller, I had to save for 2 weeks. That was teaching the meaning of money really early. I was also going into the store and buying candy or comic books, because I am seeing teenagers today, sometimes verbal, and they're being so overprotected, they are not shopping. And I sometimes have been the person that got them shopping for the first time. I met a girl at the airport with her mom, about 12 years old, fully verbal, doing well in school. She had never shopped. So I pulled some money out of my wallet and I gave it to her. And I said, go across the hallway. There's a store there. Buy something in it. And she went over there and bought a drink and brought the change back. It was the first time she had shopped. This is really bad. They've got to learn these kinds of basic skills.